Emma approached the enclosure where a large purebred German Shepherd lay. Newborn puppies crawled beside her. "Well, Ruby, what do you have for me this time? How many puppies did you bring?" "Let's count them, and I'll take a good look at them," Emma said. The dog calmly allowed her owner to come closer, and Emma started picking up the puppies, examining them closely. 8 of the puppies had perfect coloring, and Emma was very pleased with them. She praised Ruby, promised to send Mr. Jackson with food for her pet right away, and was about to leave when another puppy emerged from under the mother. It was completely black, with only a reddish patch on its forehead, as if someone had painted it with a brush. "What is this?" exclaimed Emma, throwing her hands up. "Ruby, how could you bring this black specimen into the world?" "I'm sorry, darling, but this 9th puppy is completely unnecessary. Come on, get up, let me see if there are any more surprises." Ruby obediently stood up, and Emma confirmed that there were only 9 puppies. "All right," the woman patted the dog's head. "I'll forgive you for one, but don't let this happen again. Otherwise, my dear, I'll have to replace you. I don't want to lose income just because you start bringing me defective puppies." Emma owned a kennel for breeding elite dog breeds and was very strict about ensuring there were no defects among the puppies. Those that didn't meet the accepted criteria were simply put down, following Emma's instructions. "I feed them expensive food, and I'm not going to throw money away," she told her employees. "And if your principles don't align with mine, feel free to submit your resignation. There are plenty of people eager to take your place." No one opposed the authoritative and ruthless owner because they didn't want to lose their jobs. Emma paid well by local standards, and no one would punish her for her harsh orders. After all, the wealthiest people purchased their pets from Emma. The black puppy, considered defective due to its coloring, also faced a sad fate. Only a fortunate coincidence would give it a chance at life. As soon as Emma entered her office, her phone rang, and she heard her sister's cheerful voice on the other end. "Emma, darling. I hope you haven't forgotten that it's your nephew's birthday exactly 1 week from now? I can't decide which cafe to organize the celebration at." "Why do you need a cafe? You have such a huge house, a magnificent yard with a playground, and plenty of staff. Hire some entertainers, and it'll be a piece of cake." "After all, the twins are only turning 4, Emma replied. "Oh, don't even mention it. They grow up so fast. And you know what the boys are asking for as a gift?" "I don't know, but I've already bought them a real children's car. It's so cool, like a mini Jeep." "Emma, they want a dog, can you imagine? A live puppy, a German Shepherd. They've been nagging me about it incessantly. Sell me one of the puppies, just a shepherd." "Agatha, you know that all my puppies are already spoken for. There's a waiting list even before they're born." "However, wait a moment. Ruby did bring one black puppy. How about I give it to you as a gift?" "Yes, I don't care if it's green. I can't stand dogs. I can't imagine how you deal with them." "I don't deal with them personally, my employees do. I'm the director, not the servant." "All right, fine. Don't get offended, bring your puppy over." "Well, it won't happen that quickly. Let him reach at least 2 months old, then we can transition him to regular food." "Agreed, you'll give the twins your black puppy in 2 months. And we'll prepare some other gift for them. By the way, we also thought about the children's car. Since you bought one, I'll get the other so that each twin has their own." 2 months passed. One evening, Emma called her sister and said she was planning to visit them. "By the way, I'm not coming empty-handed. Remember how we talked about the black shepherd puppy? Well, I'm bringing him to you." "Oh, great. The boys have been eagerly waiting." Following Emma's instructions, Mr. Jackson entered Ruby's enclosure, fed her, distributed food in the puppy's bowls, and then skillfully picked up the black one and headed towards the exit. The puppy whimpered, and Ruby, sensing trouble, lunged at Mr. Jackson. But he was already at the door and swiftly made his way outside. Ruby barked loudly, throwing herself against the bars of the enclosure, but Mr. Jackson was already far away, and the poor black puppy, hearing its mother's call, whimpered softly in his arms. After half an hour, Emma drove into her sister's cottage yard and waved excitedly to her nephews who ran towards her. "Hey, kids! Look who I brought for you!" The children squealed with delight and rushed to the car. Chad was quicker than Brian and instantly had the puppy in his hands. Brian screamed and grabbed the puppy by its hind leg, trying to pull it towards him. Chad dodged and attempted to hit his brother with his free hand. The puppy whimpered in pain, but the boys paid no attention to it. Only their mother's shout made them release the puppy to the ground. "Chad, Brian, this is not how you should behave. You're brothers, and you're fighting over a dog," their mother scolded. "Mama, I wanted to play with him first," Brian sobbed. But Chad snatched him away. "No, it was me first," Chad pouted. While this argument continued, the puppy tried to hide and crawled towards a cluster of shrubs. But Brian spotted it and rushed over, grabbing it tightly against himself. The fight resumed. Agatha laughed and gestured to Emma. "Oh, these troublesome boys. Well, let them sort it out themselves. Let's go and have some tea." For the black puppy, freshly separated from its mother, difficult days began. The adults forgot to feed it, didn't provide water, and didn't even think of protecting it when the boys mistreated it. The boys were openly cruel in their games with the living toy. They kicked it like a ball, swung it on the swings, and laughed loudly when the puppy stumbled and fell to the ground. They imagined it to be a mythical dragon and beat it mercilessly with their toy swords. One day, the brothers came up with a new amusement and started throwing the puppy down the slide on their playground. The puppy couldn't endure it anymore, and as it fell, it injured its leg severely. When Chad and Brian rushed to grab it and lift it back up the slide, it twisted and bit Brian's cheek forcefully. The boy screamed, and Chad swung at the puppy, but it was already prepared to defend itself and sank its teeth into Chad's hand. Hearing the wailing children, their mother rushed over from nearby. Seeing what had happened, she let out a terrifying scream and demanded that the gardener get rid of the puppy immediately. Agatha took the children inside the house, while the gardener, following the instructions of the mistress, armed with a broom, lunged at the dog. The puppy darted around the garden, trying to find any possible escape. Luckily for him, at that very moment, Agatha received some delivery, and the gates were opened for the car to drive closer to the house. Limping and gasping for breath, the puppy dashed onto the street and raced away, without caring about the direction. Its heart pounded furiously, but it didn't stop, fearing that those people might catch it and bring it back. It ran for a long time until its strength gave out. It stood, swaying from exhaustion, then looked around. There was a bush nearby, and the puppy made its way to it, collapsing and sticking out its tongue. The poor creature's legs trembled, its heart pounded somewhere in its throat, and the puppy couldn't swallow to refresh its parched mouth even a little. It struggled to catch its breath and fell into a heavy sleep, where everything merged together. A mother tearing at the iron cage bars with her teeth, cruel little owners, indifferent adults, and a gardener swinging a broom at it. The puppy whimpered in its sleep but didn't wake up. The heavy slumber refused to release it from its embrace. It opened its eyes when night had already fallen. It tried to get up but couldn't. Pain shot through its entire body, especially its injured leg. Hunger didn't torment the wretched puppy as much, it had grown accustomed to it. But it desperately wanted to drink. Still, it didn't move from its spot, only resting its snout on its paws, and closed its eyes again. The sun was high in the sky when footsteps sounded next to the puppy. Someone stopped and whistled. "Hey, buddy. What are you doing lying here?" The puppy lifted its head and saw the wrinkled face of an old man leaning towards it. There was a scent of alcohol and something else coming from him. The puppy sniffed and wanted to growl, but it couldn't manage it. Instead, it whimpered and suddenly flinched as if struck. The old man reached out his hand and gently stroked its head. It was the first time in the puppy's life it received affection, and it instantly responded by licking the man's palm. "Well, you little rascal. They sure gave you a beating. Come on, let me examine you. Don't worry, I know a thing or two about dogs. I worked as a dog handler for over 40 years. Served on the border with one just like you. By the way, they call me Edmund. And what's your name?" Kindly conversing, and thereby distracting the puppy, the old man skillfully felt him and nodded in satisfaction. "Well, buddy, you got lucky, no fractures, and the bruises will heal quickly. Why are you so skinny? Weren't you being fed or something?"
Yeah.
"Buddy, what am I going to do with you? Leaving you here means you'll end up under a car or torn apart by a pack. There are many stray dogs wandering the streets these days. Taking you with me, well, I don't live in a palace either. Just like you, I'm homeless. I found an abandoned little house in a dacha village, and that's where I live. I gather firewood, tend to the stove, keep watch at night. It's not like I can sleep anyway, so I wander around the village. People give me a little something for that, enough for bread and booze. I don't need anything else." The puppy listened attentively to the old man, and when he paused to catch his breath, it licked his hand again. "Your tongue is so dry. Hold on, I'll give you a drink." He lifted the puppy in his arms and carried him somewhere. They didn't walk for long. Suddenly, a pipe appeared, sticking out of the ground. It had rusted in one spot, and water trickled out of it. It had washed out a decent hollow in the sand, and Edmund brought the little foundling close to it. At first, the puppy hesitantly lapped at the water, but then it eagerly pounced on the life-giving moisture. It took a while for him to quench his thirst, and the old man patiently waited, standing by his side. When the puppy pulled away from the water and turned to him, Edmund smiled. "Well, if you don't mind, buddy, let's go together. It's more fun with two, and souls warm up to each other easier. Besides, I'll always share a piece of bread with you. Now, what should I call you? Rexes or Jacks won't suit us. Although you come from noble bloodlines, that's evident right away. Listen, I've come up with something. If you don't object, I'll call you brother. What do you think? Short, understandable, and it also connects us. Plus, we're brothers in misfortune, both unwanted by anyone. So, brother, what do you say? Let's move forward." The puppy, having quenched its thirst, felt a surge of strength and barked cheerfully. It already understood that this person wouldn't harm it and readily placed its trust in him. 3 years passed. Brother grew into a massive dog, infinitely loyal to his owner. Edmund taught him many commands and bestowed all his untapped love on his four-legged friend. Despite his own deprivation, he tried to feed him with tastier food. He pitied him and often showered him with affection, stroking the enormous black head and scratching behind the dog's ears. Often, after drinking whiskey, the old man poured his heart out to brother, telling him about his past life. "I had a wife and a daughter, and they're somewhere out there. But they don't need me at all. Linda, my wife, was a beauty, and I loved her. But she was always screaming at me to change my profession. I left the kennel and abandoned my dogs. She told me I always smelled like a dog and didn't bring any money home. She loved money so much, and I always felt sorry for those like you. You, too, pity me, I can see that. But Linda didn't pity me, she left and took our daughter Sophia. I begged her for almost a year to come back. And one day, she actually came and said that Sophia was very ill and needed surgery. They needed money and permission to go abroad. Apparently, only in a German clinic could they save her. Of course, I signed everything, and then I even sold my house. It was passed down to me by my parents. But what does it matter when your child is sick? Well, I went to Linda, gave her the money, and asked her to take me to our daughter. I wanted to support her, bought a beautiful doll. But my wife told me that Sophia was in the clinic and they only allowed her in. I believed her, but still couldn't resist. I went there myself the next day. After all, I'm her father, no matter how they tried to keep me out. Oh, brother, it's good that you're not like humans. There's no treachery in you, but there is in humans. The doctors told me they had never had such a patient. So I went to my former mother-in-law. Linda had been living with her recently. She screamed at me and told me to stay away from her daughter, not to ruin her life and her granddaughter's life. It turned out that Linda had deceived me to get permission to leave. Thank God, Sophia was perfectly healthy, but she flew away with her mother that morning to stay abroad forever. Linda found herself a new husband, and he invited her there. Therefore, my daughter has a new father now. But I sold the house, gave all the money for her treatment. I said. To which my mother-in-law replied that she knew all about it, and it was my decision. Yes, it was mine. But why couldn't they have been more humane about it? Linda didn't ask you for anything, my mother-in-law smirked and added, and she took the money because she's not stupid. Who would refuse such a sum? Don't be upset, think of it as if you gave it to your daughter. That's how, brother, I ended up on the streets. I lived in a kennel guard house for several years, but then they closed it down, relocated it to another city, and kicked me out onto the streets.
Ah.
With a heavy sigh, the old man poured a full glass of whiskey and drank it in one gulp, then spent a long time patting brother on the head. He even fell asleep cuddling with him. Now brother no longer complained about his fate. He was calm and even happy. But one day, misfortune once again stared him in the face. On that day, Edmund drank more than usual. Don't judge me, brother, he said to his loyal dog. Today is my daughter's birthday, and I feel so melancholic, like howling like a wolf. I lived in this world, but what will remain after me? Only you will remember me with kindness. Oh, my brother, my brother. Edmund walked along the roadside, but suddenly, as if some force pushed him, he ended up right under the wheels of a passing car. The old man couldn't even comprehend what had happened. He didn't understand how it had happened or brother. He just rushed to his motionless owner and, whimpering, began to touch him with his paw, as he always did when he wanted to wake him up. Usually, Edmund would push the dog away, sometimes grumble in annoyance if he hadn't slept well. But most of the time, he would reach out and pat brother on his shaggy head. But now, he made no attempt to move. Feeling a heavy premonition squeezing his heart, the dog rested his head on the old man's shoulder and quietly growled at the people rushing to the scene of the tragedy. It wasn't easy for them to drive the dog away so that the doctors who arrived at the accident site could approach Edmund. Only when a cover was thrown over brother and then tied to a nearby tree, could they finally lay the unfortunate old man on a stretcher and load him into the ambulance. After some time, everyone dispersed, forgetting about the dog. Night fell. Brother gnawed at the rope around his neck for a long time. And when he succeeded, he barked loudly in joy. Then he dashed in the direction the ambulance had gone, but soon lost its trail and stopped. He decided he would return to where he had last seen Edmund and wait for him there. Edmund was kind and loved him, so he would surely come back there. The night was followed by day, then night again, and then day again. Weeks turned into weeks, and the loyal dog kept waiting and waiting for his owner. The drivers who regularly passed by on that road knew very well why he sat by the roadside. Out of pity for the unfortunate dog, they fed him, brought him a bowl and filled it with water. Someone even wanted to take him home, but the dog backed away and waited cautiously until the people left. He had no intention of trading Edmund for the best of them because he was wholeheartedly attached to the kind old man who called him brother. Only when the dog was alone did he approach the bowl, drink the water, but he ate reluctantly, his appetite had long been gone. One day, an ambulance drove past brother. The dog, lying indifferently by the road, perked up. He recognized the very same vehicle that had taken away his owner and dashed after it. Now he wasn't going to let it slip away. Gasping for breath and collapsing from exhaustion, brother entered the hospital grounds. And there, for the first time in a long while, he became bewildered. He didn't expect it to be so difficult to find Edmund here. Then the dog let out a fierce bark. Meanwhile, doctors stood over the old man, who had been in a coma for many days, contemplating disconnecting him from the machines. He has no relatives, we couldn't find anyone, the doctor shook his head. So, there's no need to occupy this spot. After all, we've done everything we can for his recovery. Yes, true, the second doctor said. But what's this? Where did the dog come from? How loudly it barks, simply deafening. I don't understand, where is the janitor looking? It's brother, Edmund whispered. It's my brother. The doctors, stunned that the old man had regained consciousness, didn't understand which brother he was referring to. But now they were certain that Edmund would recover. It's a dog, Edmund spoke again. His name is Brother. I have to live for him. I have no one else. The remarkable story of Edmund and Brother touched many hearts, and soon a whole report about them was shown on television. The next morning, a beautiful woman appeared at the hospital and asked to be shown Edmund's room. Dad, she exclaimed, rushing to the old man. I'm Sophia, your daughter. Do you remember me? I've been looking for you, but I couldn't find you. If it weren't for hearing about you and your dog on the news, I wouldn't have succeeded. I recognized you right away, and you recognized me? Sophia. My girl. How beautiful you are. But when did you come? A while ago, Dad. I live here with my husband and 2 sons. I know everything that Mom did, and I know about your act too. You gave up everything for me. Mom told me the truth before she died. She was sick and deeply regretted hurting you. Oh, Dad. People do so many foolish things, but how wonderful it is when they can fix something. I'll take you with me, do you want that? Very much, my dear. And what about my dog? Well, where would we be without your savior? Sophia smiled. Your grandsons have long dreamt of having a dog, so their dream will come true. And mine too. Sophia. My dear girl. I never even dreamt of this, Edmund smiled.